All right, welcome back everybody for another deep dive. This time we're going deep into the world of self-mastery and personal growth. We found this amazing conversation on the Earn Your Leisure YouTube channel between 19 Ps and Dr. B. Sirius.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. It's amazing.
They had some really insightful stuff to say about what it really means to rule your universe.
You know, when you hear rule your universe, it sounds kind of out there, but they break it down into something that's actually relevant to all of us.
Right. Doesn't matter if you're young or old or wherever you're at in life.
Yeah, it's about understanding yourself, mastering your inner world, so you can really handle anything the outer world throws at you.
Absolutely. And they started off talking about this idea of ruling the universe within, which Dr. B. Sirius connects back to ancient philosophy, Stoicism to be exact, especially the teachings of Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius, yeah, Roman emperor, dropping wisdom in a YouTube video. Pretty cool, right?
You know what's really cool is that these principles are like thousands of years old,
Yeah.
but they are still so relevant today.
Totally agree. Marcus Aurelius had this whole vast empire. But he believed that real power came from conquering yourself, not conquering lands or armies.
It's all about self-control, reason, and virtue.
Exactly.
And we can all work towards that. It doesn't matter what kind of empire we are building in our own lives.
That's so true.
Dr. B. Sirius uses this really valid analogy to kind of drive home this point.
Okay, I'm curious.
He talks about a black bull.
A black bull?
Yeah, which he says represents that untamed masculine energy.
Okay.
Like that raw, instinctual force we all have inside us.
Like that voice in your head that tells you to hit the snooze button.
Yes. Or to eat that extra slice of cake.
Or like, why even bother? We all have that.
We all have that black bull inside.
So what do we do about it?
Well, Dr. B. Sirius says
Mm-hmm.
we need to learn to wrestle it into a headlock.
Okay, I like that.
It's not about ignoring those natural instincts
Yeah.
or pretending they don't exist.
Okay.
It's about understanding them.
And learning how to use them.
Exactly. Channel that energy into something positive,
Makes sense.
like discipline, focus, and purposeful action.
Yeah.
And speaking of discipline, 19 Keys makes this really interesting observation
What's that?
about the challenges we face in modern times. He says we live in this age where we have access to incredible resources, almost like kingly resources.
I see what he's saying. We have so much information at our fingertips, more than any other generation before.
Technology, opportunities.
I love that.
Da-da-da-da. He says we often lack the discipline of a jester.
Whoa, that's deep.
Right?
I mean, we have all these amazing things, but we get so easily distracted,
Exact.
pulled in a million different directions.
By the constant buzz of the digital world,
It's so true.
we end up squandering all these resources
Hey,
and losing sight of what truly matters.
it's like having all the ingredients for an amazing meal, but not knowing how to cook
That's a great analogy.
and ending up with a burnt mess.
Exactly.
So how do we cultivate that jester discipline?
Well, Dr. B. Sirius suggests some pretty cool strategies.
Oh, I like strategies.
He talks about the matador and the mongoose.
The matador and the mongoose.
I know, right?
What do those have to do with personal growth?
Just trust me on this one.
Right?
These analogies are brilliant.
Okay.
It's about observation, strategy, and understanding your opponent.
Who's the opponent?
It could be your own negative habits,
Hmm.
or those limiting beliefs, or all those distractions that keep you from being your best.
I'm starting to see it now.
So let's break it down.
Oh,
What's
good.
this matador approach?
Yeah, tell me about that.
Okay, so imagine a matador facing a charging bull.
Okay.
They don't just stand there and get trampled.
Of course not.
They study the bull's movements.
Anticipating its every move.
Exactly. They maneuver strategically to stay one step ahead
So understanding the forces at play.
Yep.
Knowing when to dodge.
and when to stand firm.
Then when to strike.
Exactly. It's all about strategy.
If that makes sense.
And then there's the mongoose.
Okay. Now, I'm really curious about this one.
Mongooses are fearless creatures.
They are.
They go up against cobras,
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
but they don't just blindly attack.
Of course not. One wrong move and it's over.
They observe the snake.
It's patterns.
They wait for the perfect moment.
And strike with precision.
They know the cobra's weaknesses.
So strategy and patience are key.
Exactly.
Powerful analogies.
But how do we actually use this matador mongoose wisdom in real life?
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
What does that look like?
In practice, I mean, well, first, you need self-awareness.
Okay.
Like the matador studying the bull.
And the mongoose studying the cobra.
We need to study ourselves.
Figure out our strengths, And our weaknesses.
Right, and what our triggers are,
Those things that set us off.
or make us react in ways we wish we hadn't.
And then, once we understand ourselves, then we can anticipate those challenges.
And develop strategies to overcome them.
Right.
It's like creating a game plan for your life.
I like that.
Just like a coach studies the other team.
To figure out their strengths and weaknesses.
We need to study ourselves.
And the challenges that we face.
To develop a winning strategy.
Love it.
So we have self-awareness. Then what?
Well, then how do we actually start to change those patterns that aren't working for us?
Right.
It's one thing to realize, okay, I procrastinate or I get distracted easily. But how do you actually change those behaviors?
Well, that's where Doctah Sirius brings in this idea of feminine energy. He talks about how we're shifting into this era that's more receptive, nurturing, intuitive. And he says that tapping into these qualities can help us deal with life's challenges with a lot more grace and wisdom.
So it's not just about being strategic, like the matador or the mongoose. It's about bringing this whole other kind of energy.
Exactly.
It's a more holistic approach.
And just to be clear, he's not talking about gender roles here.
Okay.
It's not about men and women. It's about recognizing that we all have both masculine and feminine energy inside of us.
I see. Like the yin and yang.
Yes. Those two forces that create balance.
And harmony.
Exactly. And in a world that often focuses too much on masculine qualities.
Like competition, aggression.
Yeah, all of that. It's so important to cultivate the feminine side as well.
Absolutely. But what does that actually look like? How do you bring in more feminine energy?
Start with simple things, like really listening to someone. Without interrupting.
Without judging.
Yeah, and without already planning your response in your head.
Truly listening.
Yes. That's feminine energy in action.
That makes sense.
Or think about the last time you trusted your gut, that little voice inside.
That says, this feels right.
Or this feels wrong.
Even if you can't explain why.
That's feminine energy, too.
It's like tuning into a different frequency, a different way of being in the world.
Exactly. And when we develop those qualities...
Receptivity, intuition.
Compassion, nurturing. We open ourselves up to a whole new level of understanding.
It's like tapping into a deeper wisdom.
That goes beyond just logic and reason.
I like that. So it's not about rejecting those masculine qualities.
No, not at all.
Because those are still important for taking action.
And achieving goals.
It's about finding that balance.
The integration
right.
of those two forces.
Absolutely. So then Doctah Sirius goes on to talk about this really interesting concept called morphogenic resonance.
Morphogenic resonance.
I'll admit, when I first heard that, I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah, it sounds complicated.
But once he explained it, it totally clicked.
I know what you mean.
He uses this analogy of tuning forks.
Oh, tuning forks.
So you strike one tuning fork,
yeah,
and another one nearby will start to vibrate at the same frequency.
Yeah, I remember learning about that in school.
What he's saying. But the same principle applies to us.
To our energy.
Our intentions. Our thoughts and emotions.
We're all vibrating.
At a certain frequency.
And we attract things into our lives.
People. Experiences.
Yeah.
That vibrate at a similar frequency.
So if you're always stressed and worried,
you're going to attract more stress and worry into your life.
Exactly.
But if you can raise your vibration
to a frequency of joy and love, abundance,
then you'll start attracting those things instead.
It's like the law of attraction in action.
What you focus on expands.
That's why finding your tribe is so important.
Right. Because the people you surround yourself with,
your friends, your family, even the people you follow online,
they all influence your energy.
And your vibration.
Exactly.
If you're always hanging out with negative people, it's going to be really hard to stay positive.
So it's about being mindful of who you let into your inner circle.
And who you give your energy to.
And actively seeking out people who inspire you.
Who uplift you. And who support your growth.
Who resonate with your values.
Your goals. Your vision for the future.
You have the power to choose the frequencies you want to tune into.
The energies you want to surround yourself with.
Doctah Sirius says that even small shifts in your awareness can have a ripple effect.
He uses the example of a monkey.
Who learned how to wash its food.
And that simple act spread to the entire monkey population.
It's amazing how one person can make such a difference.
Our actions have a much bigger impact than we realize.
And change doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing.
Right.
It can start with small, consistent actions.
And conscious choices.
That are in line with your values.
And the world you want to create.
And sometimes those small actions might involve facing some challenges, confronting those devils that stand in your way.
He talks about how the devil, not like a literal being,
Of course.
but those obstacles and opposing forces in life, are often necessary for growth.
It's like those weights at the gym.
They challenge your muscles. They make you stronger.
Instead of seeing challenges as setbacks, we can see them as opportunities.
To grow, to become more resilient, more resourceful, more powerful.
And that's where that falcon metaphor comes back in.
Soaring above all the chaos, staying focused on its prey.
That image is so powerful.
We need to cultivate that falcon mindset in our own lives.
Rise above the noise,
The negativity.
the distractions.
Trust our instincts, our vision, and our ability to deal with those challenges that come our way.
I love that falcon metaphor.
Yeah.
It's so inspiring. We all have that potential to rise above the limitations,
Yeah.
to see the bigger picture, create a life that is aligned with our true purpose.
We do.
But how do we actually cultivate that falcon mindset?
It is easy to talk about, but life can be chaotic.
It can.
That's why Doctah Sirius's insights about self-mastery are so important.
What does he say?
He reminds us that real power comes from mastering yourself, not trying to control what's happening around you.
So not about forcing the world, to bend to our will.
No.
It's about mastering our inner world.
So we can navigate the outer world more effectively.
Exactly.
The real battle is within.
That's deep.
It's about conquering your own negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
and those self-sabotaging behaviors.
Our inner devils
Yes.
holding us back.
From our full potential.
And he keeps coming back to that analogy
Yeah.
of wrestling the black bull
That untamed energy inside all of us.
into a headlock. But it's not about suppressing those instincts.
Not at all.
It's about learning to channel them in a positive direction.
Exactly.
Recognizing those raw primal instincts are part of who we are.
Part of our human nature.
We can't just deny them or pretend they don't exist.
We have to understand them
Work with them.
and direct that energy towards our goals.
It's like becoming the ruler of your own inner kingdom.
Yeah.
Thoughts, emotions, behaviors.
Like any good ruler, you need to start by being aware.
Paying attention to what's going on.
What are you thinking about?
What emotions are driving you?
What are the patterns of behavior that keep you stuck?
Doctah Sirius talks about finding your rhythm.
Your own flow.
He uses the analogy of a musician.
Understanding the priming,
The pauses.
the spaces between the notes.
It's about listening to your inner guidance
Experimenting.
and figuring out what works best for you.
And just like a musician practices,
We need to practice self-mastery.
it's a lifelong journey.
He also talks about the importance of discernment
Being able to tell the difference between what truly serves you.
and what's just noise or distraction.
You have a choice in what you let into your mind and your heart
You can focus on the negative, the drama, the things that drain your energy,
and keep you stuck in fear.
or you can focus on the
The
positive.
things that inspire you
They give you energy.
and empower you to move forward.
This brings us back to that idea of morphogenic resonance.
Right.
We attract what we vibrate.
If you want a life filled with joy, abundance, purpose,
You have to start by cultivating those qualities within yourself,
being mindful of your thoughts, your words, the energy you put out into the world,
surrounding yourself with the right people.
and taking action.
It's not enough to just think positive thoughts.
You have to actually do something.
Doctah Sirius reminds us that even small actions
Consistent actions.
can create amazing results.
Remember that gallon bottle challenge?
Where you put a penny in a gallon bottle every day.
It seems small,
Insignificant.
but over time,
Pennies add up.
to something substantial.
Just like that saying, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
Each step forward, no matter how small,
It's a sign of your commitment.
to growth and self-mastery.
As we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a question. What's one small change you can make in your daily routine
Or your mindset.
that would help you rule your own universe?
It could be starting a gratitude practice,
Or meditating for 15 minutes each day?
or spending less time on social media.
And more time doing things you love.
Start small, be consistent, and trust the process.
You have the power to create a life that is truly fulfilling, joyful, and aligned with your purpose.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you feel inspired to take charge of your own universe.
And if you want to learn more about mastering your inner world, you can visit www.ultimatemasters.org for coaching.
Don't forget to check back daily for new episodes. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep ruling your universe.